everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie. Welcome back to my channel. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers and all of you that have been with me for a while, and I hope you'll enjoy this video. So I recently made a folio. Let me show you that. And I had made this folio in this fashion. So it's like a 3 open folio with a signature right here. And then pockets and envelopes and flips and all kinds of things. And on the front, I did a different closure. I was messing around yesterday, and so I came up with this template. So I want my folio to have this kind of a closure. And on the inside, I want to have these flaps, which will close with policy closure. I think I want to put like an envelope in here and a signature on this side and pockets. I know, other than that, I really don't know. So I thought I'd bring you along with me and let's see what we can do on creating this into a project. So I've done a little bit of prep work. I want to make it out of this craft cardstock. So you'll need 2 pieces of this. I think I have one too many. Set that one aside. So we're going to do some scoring on this and some trimming. I have also torn, well, actually I used my decal edge trimmer, and I have gone through and selected some papers that are going to go on the tea dye paper that I have in this signature. So I've got these that will go onto this. And then I also have digitals. So the digitals I'm going to be using are from Polka Art Studio and the Autumn in the City. So what I want to do is do some of the covering with this, with a combination of these along with some of these lace papers that I also are from Polka Art. And I'm not sure yet quite how I'm doing it, but I'm going to be using these. So I'll just show you what I'm going to be using. The kit has a lot more in it, of course. These are the pages that I have selected. I want to do some tearing, inking, all kinds of things to try to make this a fun folio. So let's get started. So I'm going to grab my scoreboard and then we can begin doing the scoring. Okay, so I'm going to use this craft cardstock. Use whatever paper you want to use. And I've got my scoreboard here. So on one piece, you want to score at 4.5. And at 5. And that gives you a 1/2 inch spine. Okay, so there's our first piece. Our second piece, we want to score at 1/2 inch. Oops, 1/2 inch. Oh. Okay, and 1 inch. So let's grab the paper trimmer now. So your folio is going to end up being 8 1/4 high by 4.5. So the first thing I want to do is cut these down to 8 1/4. So it's just going to be taking off 1/4 inch. Line that up and trim that down. So do both pieces that way. Okay, so we've got that. Now we want to cut off some of the excess. So if I fold my first piece, which we scored at 4.5 and 5, we want to make sure that the other side is 4.5. So let me just show you with my ruler. So our piece is 4.5, so we want this other side to be 4.5. So I'm going to just put my fold, this fold right here, onto the 4.5 and cut the excess off. So you're cutting off about this much. That's on the one piece. The second piece, we want to cut the excess off as well, because I'm changing this one. So now this will go like this. Okay, so let me just give you some measurements complete. That will make it easier for you. So we have one piece that's a total of 4 inches. We have a score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and the height is 8.25. The second piece we have scored at 4.5 and 5, and all total this piece would be 9.5 inches with a 1/2 inch spine. So now we have our folio like this. And now we're going to make the flaps for the inside. And you can glue this either on the outside or the inside. It makes no difference, whichever way you want to do it. So now the flaps that I have here, they are 4.25 by, and we have about a 1/4 inch by 4. So 4.25 by 4. So let's cut some of those pieces. We just need 2. So they will end up attaching here, like that. So let's do the scoring on that, and then we're all done with scoring. Hopefully this isn't too confusing. My apologies. It's always trying to work and develop something and then try to make it on camera. So hang in there with me. Okay, so 1/4 inch, and I'm doing this on the 4.25 inch side. So 4.25 inch side, score at 1/4 inch. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to use my bone folder and fold and burnish everything. Here's my 2 flaps, and here's my piece that's going to get attached, and then here is my spine. Make sure that that's lined up. Okay, also on these flaps, I'm going to round the corners. So let me get a corner rounder. I'm using the large. So this is the 1/2 inch, and this is just the We Are Memory Keepers. You can use whichever corner rounder you have. It doesn't make any difference. And if you don't want to corner round them, you don't have to. Okay. All right, so let me take my glue, and I want to glue this to the back. I think that's the easiest. You can also glue it to the inside, and we're going to be covering it anyway. So just however you want to do it, whatever you're comfortable with. So just adding the glue to this 1/2 inch part right here. And then we'll just lay this underneath and line it up. And just make sure you're not going all the way to the score line. You need to leave just a little bit so that this moves freely. And then just make sure it's lined up. do the best you can on that, and then press it down. So that becomes our actual folio, and this is the actual folio size. Now we can do some of the covering, and I want to do some of the covering before we add the flaps. So what I thought about doing was tearing some of the paper and kind of making, I don't know, I'm not really sure yet. I just have a thought in my head. So I think what I want to do is maybe put these two on the inside. So let's get my ruler out here. And I know that that's 4.5. So let's see here. 4.5 would make it about there. Okay, so I'm going to tear here. And let's see. Let me mark this with my pencil. And we'll tear here. All right, and then I know I needed 8.5, so let's make some marks of where we're going to be tearing. So 8.5 takes us, and I want it smaller than that, so let's just tear a little bit off of the top and the bottom, and then we'll adjust from there. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on this first one, and then I'll go and do some of the rest of this off camera. Okay, so my thought process was this. To add this on, I need to trim it just a little bit more. So let's take a little bit more off of this side. Okay. Try that again. That works. And then what I thought I'd do with some of these lace papers is just to tear some pieces. Let me take off the white edge here. Then I'll kind of show you what I was thinking. We'll see if it's going to work. So then I wanted to just tear some of these pieces and just add some pieces to this. Kind of like this. And let's see. And then maybe down here. So let's see. Let's ink up this. I'm going to use Vintage Photo. This is just Distress ink, not Distress Oxide. And I'm going to just tear off these little extra pieces of white here. And I want to really kind of ink these up pretty dark, so it kind of looks like it's been burnt. Okay, and then we'll ink up this page as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink the folio, just the edges of it. So I'm going to just do portions at a time so I don't bore you with the inking. So let's go ahead and ink this as well. Okay, so it's our first part on the inside. So glue this down and then start adding some of my torn pieces. Give it some character. Kind of like, I don't know, kind of like looking through a broken window. I don't really know. It's just something I had in my head that I thought I would give a try. So ink all around, or ink. We're going to glue all the way around this. All right. Okay. So just line it up. Try to get it centered. Just making sure you stay away from the fold so that this will continue to fold. So there's our first piece. So now let's try this and see how it looks. I think you guys may know by now, I like to try new things. I like new techniques, new ways of doing things. I get my thought process going and then I want to give it a try. So yeah, that's what I like. Thinking, let's see, what is this one? I think I want this one here. Let's do that. And then let's put this one down here. So that is what we have so far. I'm okay with that. And I'm not sure what I'm going to be putting, if I'm going to be putting really anything here. I think what I'm going to do is leave this. I think what I'm going to do here is a plain page, maybe just of the lace. And then that way I'll have my two pockets that are going to go here, like that. And then we can put something in here. So I don't think I want to put a beautiful page like this. I think I just want to stay with, well, they're all beautiful, but I think I want to just stay with some of that lace on this next one. So we can do that one together. So let me just make some marks. My pencil. And let's tear this. Okay. And let's see. I think we're okay on the bottom. So I think I'll just tear off this little bit of white and we've got it. So do you guys like learning new things? I would love to know. And yeah, I just would like to hear your thoughts. And if you're enjoying these videos, or if I need to do some other ones that I've done previously. Okay, so this will be perfect. And I'm thinking that I want this on here first. So I do that. Then these would be all the glue down and the fold would be kind of covered, which means I need to also cover these. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back to you and we'll put this page together. All right, so I have cut my pieces. I have inked them all up. I've inked the rest of the folio on the inside. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue these down and get these flaps ready to go on. So I've just laid my piece on it, whichever direction I needed it to be the right way. So in other words, this would go this way and this one would come up this way. So I just wanted to be careful how I traced around the piece, and that's all I did is I traced around it and then I cut it out just a little bit inside. And then I've cut a lace piece, so when it's open it will still be right side up. So if that makes any sense, that's what I am doing here. And again, just making sure that the flap will open and close with no problem. So this one will end up going down here, and then let's do this one. And again, use any papers you want, but if you like this kit, these will all be linked below from Polka Art Studio. So you can check out Andrea's shop. Let's see what she's got. She's got some beautiful new autumn kits out. This is one of them. Autumn in the City. All right. Okay, so we've got these now finished. So let's go ahead and glue our flaps down. And I'm going to glue them on this side. Turn this around so I can line this up. So I just want to line it up side to side and right at the edge of the folio. And then just press that down really good. And we can still add the policy closure. I'm not worried about that. And let's make sure that we get these lined up top and bottom also. So I'm going to make sure these are going to line up right. That looks pretty good. Okay. Press that down really good. Line it up as best you can. This one is not quite as tall. That's okay. It's just the way it printed. I'm okay with all of that. So this will end up coming and being closed here. This will come over and this will come over. So on this side, I think what I want to do is use this other part of this sheet. So we only have 3 inches. So we're going to tear this piece down to just under 3 inches. So I think what I want to capture is her. So let's just mark it here and here. And then we'll tear that. Just line it up, try to get it straight. It always helps if you have it straight on a line on your mat. Okay. And then let's do the same thing. Okay, I have some more pieces ready, so let's go ahead and do the front. So the front, I've added some of this torn ledger paper, lace paper as well. So I want to glue this down here, but before I do that, I want to add a magnet. So to keep this closed, here's my thought. So my thought is to have this over the front and then have a magnet on this side. So it'll be glued here after I glue these pages on, and then I can, after I put the magnet on, then I can go ahead and cover the back of this so we'll have something pretty on the other side. So let me just get my magnets out. I have to think about these things ahead of time, because if not, then if I forget, then I can't do the magnet like I want to. Whoops. Yeah, they're strong magnets. One of those. I do like using magnets over, oh, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, they're strong. I do like using magnets over Velcro sometimes. Just like that. All right, so let's line this up so I know exactly where to put my magnet. And I have put my signature inside. I'll show you that shortly. So let's say right about here. And right about there. Now comes the fun part. Getting it apart without moving it. There we go. I think I got it. Yay. Okay, so now that we've got these on here, I'm just going to add just a little bit of tape over them. Just to kind of hold them in place. And then we'll cover it, of course, with the paper. Just want to hold these in place. All right, so now we can add our piece here. I've inked everything. The other thing I did is I glued all of the papers that I wanted to from the kit onto the pages, the tea-dyed pages I had in my signature, which I'll be showing you those. I also printed off a couple more papers from another kit, which is, I believe, Autumn Serenade, and I want to make a couple of envelopes out of those to go in here. Just trying to make sure I line this up best as I can. Okay, let me take the signature out now so that I can press this down really good, especially around the magnet. So that's be our closure. And while I'm here on the back here, I'm going to go ahead and add this piece to the very back of the folio. Another one from the blank lace ledger pages. Again, I'll put all these kits below that I'm using. If you like using digitals, but you don't have to use digitals. You can use any paper you have, any style you want. Okay, now we want to cover this. So here's what I came up with. I had this strip left, and then I tore a piece to go over it like that. So let's go ahead and get this piece glued down. Trying not to make this video too long, but at the same time wanting to show you some things that I am doing in this project. And then we will glue this piece down. I think that makes it look really cool with all the torn edges of this ledger lace paper. Okay. This piece wasn't quite long enough, so I extended it. Just putting two pieces together. Really don't notice it. It's up here. I did not ink it so that it wouldn't be noticed. Okay, now let's go ahead and cover the back of this. Cover up that magnet. just make sure I got this the right way. Try to make it border even, and then again pressing it down really good around this magnet. Make sure that stays in place. And then we should be able to, match that up and close it up. Okay, so I don't want to put this on yet because I still have to do my signature. But let's just see what we've done so far. So I've covered some of the inside. We've done the flaps. And what I want to do now is a couple of envelopes. So I've printed off these pieces from the Autumn Serenade kit. They're backing papers, perfect for envelopes. And my envelope size that I want to put in here has to be no larger than 4, and I want it about by 6. So with a 4 by 6, I'm going to use my envelope punch board. I had to cut my pieces 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, so that's what I have done. And for this particular one, for a 4 by 6, I need to do my first score line at 3 3/8. So we're going to set this at 3 3/8 and punch, and then score. Turn it around. You probably have used an envelope punch board. Line up this with your score line and punch again. And score. And do the same thing. Line it up with your score line and punch, and then score. And this is just 32-pound copy paper. I typically use a 32-pound. I like the weight of it. I like the feel of it when I'm using it in projects. So I'm going to do the same exact thing with this one. Starting out at 3 3/8. Punch and score. And line it up. Punch and score. If you don't have one of these, it's real easy to make envelopes just by having a square piece and doing the folding. I think I've done some of those and maybe a video out on it. If I don't have it, somebody does, I know. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on one of the large ones, and that will be over the top. So now that I've got my pieces, we can fold our envelope. So I'm just going to fold these flaps in. Like that. This flap will come up. And then this one will go down. Same thing. Real easy with an envelope punch board. But you can do the same thing with that one. This one, and then this. And let's ink it up. Now what you can do is not seal these and leave them open and tuck things into them if that's what you like. Or you can seal them up and then just put things into them and just set it inside the pocket, the policy pocket that we made. Not quite sure yet if I'm going to leave these open or if I'm going to go ahead and seal them up. So I'm still thinking about that as I'm inking. What would you do? I guess that would be my question. What would you guys do? I don't know. I like it both ways. Okay, let's do this one. So because this video has got a little longer than, I didn't want to keep you guys too long, I'm going to go ahead and we'll put these in, and then we're going to get right into putting in the signature. And for that, the last one I did with elastic and eyelets, and I believe that's what I'm going to do this time as well. But you can sew it in if that's what you want to do. You can use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch or more holes if you choose to do that. I'm going to go ahead and go with the elastic because I like that opportunity of having options. Okay, so now that we've got these, let's take a look and see what we want to do. So let's take our cover. So I'm thinking this one right here. Now I could just glue this in and then let that be a pocket on, I have this one, and I could have two, one here and one here. Or we can put one over here. I'm thinking, I think I want to glue this one in. And then that way we have this. I'm not going to worry too much about the white on this. You can always add a backing paper, but because this has gone on a little longer than I was thinking, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as is. So let's go ahead and glue this one down. You could also glue this on and have it be a pocket, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just glue this down, and this is going to be something you can tuck in tags or cards, or if you're giving it as a gift, you could add some ephemera pieces in here. And this one I'm not sure of yet, so let's go ahead and keep going so we don't waste too much time. Okay, so policy closure is going to be real simple. I'm just going to use some of this craft cardstock. Punch 4 hole for these circles. These are 1 inch. That one's not very good. Let's do that again. So we need 3 more. And then I think what I'll do is add some of this paper. So let's go ahead and punch 2. And then we'll glue these together. And then we'll ink them up. And that's going to be our policy closure. So that will come off here and up here. So let's go ahead and glue these. I think I'm just going to use some regular twine. Let's see what I have in my stash. There's different options you could do, or you could just not leave it. Just let it be a closure as you close up your journal. However you want to do it. So let's go ahead and ink these. Okay, so I chose these, think those would look really cool. And I'm just going to eyeball the center. Use my pokey tool. Poke a hole all the way through. And then add the bread. Okay, there's one. And here's the second one. And then let's just line them up. I think actually this one is probably the perfect thickness. So let's wrap it around here and make a knot. Let's cut off the excess. Put that under. Make sure this is down good. And then we'll wrap it. Okay. So we've got that. Make sure that's tight enough. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and do our signature. Here's my signature. So I've taken some tea dye paper and I've also taken some old vintage documents. So let me just quickly go through it. Also some tea stain bags. And this is a vintage document. This one. Here. Here. And then this is some onion skin. Love the sound of that. And then here we have a digital on both sides. We have a vintage check and a vintage book page. Another tea dye glassine bag that I did the other day. More of the digital. Here's the center. The other part of the bag. And we have the other side of the book page and the vintage check. Another digital. Onion skin again. And the other side of our vintage documents. So I wanted to have a combination in here. I wanted to have a variety with vintage and then digitals. So that is the signature that's going to go right here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and add my eyelets, and I've chosen the same color as I used for the brads in this copper color. So we just need two. And I'm just going to double check to see. I want it to go toward the bottom as close as possible without going off the edge. Just making sure that it's not going to catch the papers and wrinkle them. So right about there. And the same thing on this side. And then add the eyelets. And I want the eyelets to be on the outside. So they'll look nice out here. I'm not doing anything else on the spines. You can reinforce them more, but I'm not going to do that on this one. And because this is pretty good cardstock. And then we'll add this one. And now we have our eyelets. And let's go ahead and get our elastic. I'm just using this elastic. I have a lot of it. So very simple. I'm going to just go down and across and up. Like that. And then we'll cut a piece and then try to make it tight but not super tight. So in other words, you want it to hold in your signature. So I'm just kind of making it a little bit snug. Just make sure it's not too awful tight that your signature won't go on easily. So then find the center and slip it on, just like this. And if you need to adjust your pages, then you can do that. I think mine are just kind of borderline, but I think they're going to be okay. Yep. So that's what it looks like here. And we've got this here. If you had some different color, you could put that on here instead of white. So now I am down to gluing this down to the front. So I want to put my finger here where I need to put the glue, and then add the glue to all of this, except where the magnets are. That's where it's going to hold. Make sure you have it going the right way, and let that magnet catch. Make sure it's lined up straight, and then press it down. And then you can lift this up and make sure we're straight and press it down really good. So we have this. Now you can add more things to this. So you could add pockets, you can add more things into this area where your policy closure is. So we've got this now. So that will open up like that. We have the envelope. We can add things to. We can reclose this. And if it's not enough, you know, if it gets too bulky, then you can always add more twine, a little longer piece. And then it goes over like this, and we've got all our signature now. It's in here. Just do a quick flip through here. Let me just trim these down now. Make sure that's good and tight. The magnets were stuck to my scissors. And you can always open up the other side of the bags in here. So this is what we have. What a fun little folio. And really, you can go as much as you want to in this, or as little. And I like the magnet closure because I like the way it keeps it nice and snug. Okay, well that's our video for today, and hopefully you'll give this a try. I will try to put the measurements and the scoring in the description box on this, and that would help a lot. I'll also link the digitals that I used from Polka Art Studio. Oh, here's the back. I see the back. I think these just, I'm so ready for fall weather. It's still hot here in Southern California, and next week it's going to be like 105 and 106 a few days. So yeah, I'm trying to usher it in a little early. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great day. God bless you all. Please like, subscribe, and I'd love to hear comments. So please feel free to comment below. And you guys have a great day, and God bless you. We'll see you at the next video. Bye.